Once upon a time, our storytellers gather, bringing with them only a set of dice, a scroll of magical story elements, and a passion to create. Rolling for genre, setting and time, and character archetype, our storytellers Ethan, Ari, and Nathan weave a tale right before your very eyes. Stay a while and listen as we share our creativity in progress.
Hello, hello, hello. Creativity in progress. As always, I am your host, Ethan Murphy. And this week, I promise I won't be clipped every other word, so you can hear my annoying Alvin the Chipmunk-esque voice in full volume. Today, as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Nathan Beatty Jr. III.
Hi.
Hello, Nathan.
How are you?
I am well. And as always, we are joined by our even lovelier co-host, Ari Orner. Hello, Ari. How are you?
Hey. Oh, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. That's so nice. Well, the manners. And for the first time ever on this particular branch or this particular faction of that's the wrong word. Whatever. This iteration of the show, we have a very, very special guest. We are joined by Sam Stokes. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hello. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Of course, yes. We are honored to have you on. Yes. And you guys, Sam, just for those of you guys that don't know, Sam is a full-blown quadruple threat. She's a singer, actress, dancer, podcaster, writer, and also, I think she got a Nobel Peace Prize for tap.
Hey, I got it for tap, yeah.
Final boss. You get up Mario. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But Sam is an amazing talent. She actually she is a very accomplished singer-songwriter, and she also actually did our upcoming theme song for the show. We will premiere it for you guys very soon. Just remember that Sam did that. So today we are joined by her, and she's going to be in our writer's room, and we're going to officially have her to craft the story. And for those of you, if this is your first time joining us, the nature of the show is we are parents, and we are making a bedtime story for our kids, and we're making it up together on the spot. And the way we, of course, come up with that is we roll the die for the genre, we roll the die again for the setting, we roll the die again for the archetypes that could be in the story. So, is everyone ready to begin?
Yes. So I'm
Ready, Freddy?
Let's rock and roll.
Oh, jeez.
All right, I'm sorry. I had to get one.
Sam's connection died. It died.
Let's rock and roll. All right. Well, let's pop over to the genre bit, and actually, I'm gonna. Oh, geez, wrong mouse. I have too many mice. I'm infestated with mice.
Too many mice on the dance floor.
Yes. Okay. So this is a D10, correct?
It is now.
All right, we're rolling 8.
Beautiful. It's a superhero. And it's
yes.
I know that's what I wanted. I asked God for Christmas. All right, so I'll put that in.
All right.
Hero.
And then okay, so let's. Oh, geez, yeah, that's right. I actually have things to do.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
Superhero. Need to type that into. I got to do the typing too. So. Unfortunately, my computer is taking forever.
That's all right. You're still very pretty.
Well, I do what I can. Okay, so now we're going to move to setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to roll that. That's a D10 as well, correct?
Yes, sir. It's a D10 as well.
1.
Beautiful. That is desert or dessert. Let's go with desert today.
Alrighty.
All right, and the next one is where we just roll for the time, which is only 3.
Okay, so we're gonna roll for time. So I'm gonna roll on that. 3.
Future, beautiful.
Wow. Okay. All right.
This is feeling very much like something we talked about before we started recording. Kind of.
Wait, let me just get this in here before we roll for characters. Mad Max, but superheroes.
That's what. Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly.
just literally draw Mel Gibson ranting about something. Yeah.
Oh no. Let's update it a little bit.
Yeah. Who was the one in the new one? Was that Tom Hardy or?
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Or Furiosa. Furiosa.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All right, so now here's where it gets fun, Nate. This is where we get into our archetypes, and you always go to it always ends up being the exact same area. Do you want to go like, it goes up to 288, but do you want, or 289, sorry. Do you want to like limit it so we get more honed in on different ones, or just go ahead and do the whole full gambit again?
We'll just do the one, because it went into the 200s there for a bit, so
it did.
So I say we really get crazy and go with that. So first, let's go ahead and just get like a whole bunch of D20s. Okay. And then now I'm gonna roll it, and let's see what we get. 149. Sweet Jesus.
It's always the same area. All right, let's see what we got though this time. So 149. So it's Mentor. Have we had exactly?
Yes, we have had Mentor.
Oh, yes,
we have had Mentor.
So that's
we want to reroll.
Dice.
Reroll. Okay.
All right, let's reroll. I'll just keep rolling it until we get. Ooh, okay, 209.
Yay! Look at you, show off. Okay, 209. So 209 is a Redeemer, which is also keeping in line with Mad Max and Mel Gibson, especially. So, all right, Redeemer. What are you doing over there?
Nothing.
All right, that's archetype number 1.
I hope y'all are writing these down, because I ain't.
No, I got them.
Okay. All right, and let's do the next one.
Red.
Really? 169.
Ooh, okay. Let's see what we got though. It might be
Nice.
It's we definitely did that last week. It was a nonconformist.
Oh, we did. Crap.
Oh.
All right. We really need to curate this. Okay.
Yeah,
what about 145? Do I hear a 145?
You tobacco auctioneer, you.
We're trying our best.
So we actually technically haven't done this one. This one's Master. So we technically haven't done that. We did Mentor, but not Master. So I want to go ahead and should we? Is it too close, Ari? Ari is giving me the side eye.
No. I'm willing to go for it, because we technically haven't done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll roll for a third one too. So we'll roll for a third one.
Okay. All right, and let's see. Okay, come on. Let's get out of this midsection.
Come on, Nate, do it. Believe in yourself.
Okay.
Don't believe in me.
I'll take this. 104.
104. Nice. That's by far the lowest roll we've ever had. Okay.
Yeah,
Getting near my IQ. Okay, 104. It's ironically enough though, it's a gunslinger, so it's a.
Oh my
perfect.
Lord!
We didn't roll for it last week. We had one. We didn't roll for it though, so that works. Okay.
Yeah. Like I think for last week's that would have been a little too on the nose. That would have been like, okay, I think these dice are loaded.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Rigged.
They're rigged dice. Okay, cool deal. So just to do a quick recap for the audience and for Sam, since she is it's her first time. The genre we roll for is a superhero. The setting is a desert or desert. Time period is the future. Archetype number 1 is Redeemer. Archetype number 2 is Master. Archetype number 3 is Gunslinger. All right.
Great.
So, Keys,
All right.
what are if you just start spitballing here, what are some of the first thoughts you guys had?
Well, I'm into. Okay, so I love the desert setting, but I'm also kind of thinking like, in addition, it would be kind of a sort of maybe some Blade Runner flavor in there.
Sure.
With the future setting.
Yes, I love it. Yeah,
maybe it's like kind of like place this in the middle of the desert.
Yes, because also even though it says desert, it doesn't have to be like the Sahara. It could actually be like if it's the future, it could be almost like a dystopian future where, like, Chicago.
LA is a desert. Yeah.
LA literally is a desert, but yeah. So it could be something like that.
Word. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you guys think is the gunslinger like? I mean, do you think that one of these three characters should be our quote superhero, or is it just a world in which superheroes like? What if the world only had superheroes that were alive? What if there was like
Ooh.
the only people that were able to live whatever this apocalyptic thing were superheroes? So it was a world full of just
I
that's it.
like that, but what if we broke it down to that everyone that was alive was a mutant or something, had some kind of ability? They may not all be
Yeah.
heroes, but they're all changed.
Yes.
They're enhanced. They're all enhanced.
Yeah, kind of like X-Men or
Evolved,
My Hero
yeah.
Academia or something.
Yeah. My Hero Academia, my X-Men. Yeah, exactly. That works well, I think. Yeah, I think, and then I like that idea too of it, that in this world, in order to survive, you had to have had some kind of powers. Yeah, I agree entirely.
I like that.
Right. So
Okay.
is the desert just the setting, or is it because of some sort of like nuclear fallout or something that caused the mutant stuff in the first place?
So I feel like that question answered itself in a way. It writes itself that if the setting of the desert happened because of some kind of a nuclear fallout or whatnot, and that also gave the survivors the ability, these powers or whatnot too. So
Okay.
yeah, I kind of, that's where I am. But what do you guys think?
No, I like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one too.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
So I guess the thing is too, what do we want to get into? We could literally have our code open. It literally just opens where basically like a bomb goes off or something like that. Essentially, we don't even see what caused the bomb. We don't see the nuclear war or not. Sorry, the atomic war. We just see a bomb going off, basically, big, huge, earth-shattering bomb. And then we just said we kind of just jump to the future, and then we kind of see the way the cities are set up, and we see people, the survivors, how they are living.
So, okay, so I really like this, but it is. I mean, I don't want to get too close to like Mad Max or Fallout.
I have an idea.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go, Ari, because I feel what you're feeling, and I have maybe a resolution for it. What if instead of it's like
I
okay.
finished my thought. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. what if the instead of it being the classic like explosion, because the question is like, how do you have an explosion that affects the entire planet? What if like humanity was, and this is not a topical thing, there's no virus, but what if like humanity was like struggling with, let's say, something like climate change or whatever, and the governments around the world figured out, because people were dying from thirst, and they figured out a way to give everyone a better form of water, so everyone was drinking this water around the globe, but then they found out that this water was actually contaminated, and so it actually ended up wiping out, let's say, a lot of the planet, and only those who were able from this water, whatever, were able to mutate were the ones that were able to survive.
I like it.
I really like that.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I like that because also it does lean into the whole idea of desert, because the world is running out of water already.
Just running out of water.
Yeah. Okay. I'm locking that in.
Global warming is real.
It really is. Sorry. All right.
Yeah, sorry about it. But it is.
All right. So I'm locking that in. And I like the idea too that it's, in a way, how is it that some people have abilities or mutants and some people aren't? It's basically just luck of the draw. If your body happens to survive, be able to withstand this artificial water compound, and by laws of Darwin's natural selection, you're able to survive.
Yeah, so maybe.
What if it's intentional? Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
Intentional. Yes.
Oh, you need a Reagan and crack. I like this.
Corporation comes up with this miracle water and is like, yeah, maybe we could just use it to get rid of half the population because the planet's dying and we can't stop that. But we can, just do a genocide. We can do that.
Genocide, yes. Genocide's always fun.
Let's do a genocide.
let's do a genocide.
Man. Why didn't my mom read this story to me when I was a kid? Shucks.
This bedtime story? Yeah. Jesus. Still better than Worship Down.
So maybe then the thing that's like the thing that everyone's looking for is, I mean, this driving force is drinkable water,
That's the
And
resource they want.
Yeah.
that's the resource that, and
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
very distrusting of water. You know, it becomes a thing. So they're drinking all sorts of other things,
Oh, I like that.
you know, but trying to find pure
Yeah.
actual water that you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually drinkable, you know?
Yes, I love it. I'm typing all this. It's all in. My font's a little too big. Who cares? But yeah, I'm typing all this
Because
in.
like the fake water doesn't kill them. It probably actually just makes them more mutated, but that probably has a lot of drawbacks. And so,
Of course, yeah, there's always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. I like how this is varying between Mad Max and a Waterworld starring Kevin.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, do you ever seen Paper?
But you know, I like that idea a lot because as opposed to a gasoline and then called it a Mad Max, it's water and it's just for survival, or even like, you know, resources like water and food to stay alive.
yeah.
Because it makes perfect sense. And also, it could be very heroic if someone finds supplies or finds water and brings them to villages, things of that nature, or it could seem very evil if someone is deliberately either hoarding water and things from other people or destroying it so other people can't get it or what have you. They're very clear motives.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Ooh, maybe our redeemer. Well, is it a redeemer or is it someone who is looking to be redeemed?
The way I first interpreted it was that the person had fallen from grace themselves and they were seeking redemption, but it definitely can go the other way around too. They are a redeemer.
Like first one is more interesting to me. What do you think?
I agree entirely.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
where
maybe
our story starts.
Yeah, maybe our redeemer is someone who worked for the corporation, and realized that they were doing a bad thing, and I don't know.
That was my first thought too. That's what they needed redemption from. They themselves. Now, I guess one thing to think about in mind, real quick, is how much time is the future? How much time since the drought happened and people started drinking this water? How much time roughly would you imagine has passed from, I guess, the fall of society to now? So if you want to have it that this is the first generation of people that drank this water and they themselves are the one with abilities, or if it's been like a generation or two and people have grown up with these abilities, or how you want to play this?
It's a good question.
I think it's probably more interesting to have it be like a generational thing. Like this has kind of been the status quo for a little while, and that's like they discover like, okay, the survivors and everything are giving birth to essentially mutants, but we won't say the word mutants because copyright. But you know,
MCU. Yeah.
Yes. But I think that's probably the better, because the other alternative is that like we could go the other route of having it where you drink the water and you either die or you turn into a mutant or other an enhanced individual.
Right. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I like that idea too, because also it gives it. It gives the ability to give rise for anybody essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It could be younger people can be involved in this story and have powers too, or the older people. So yeah. I like that idea.
Also, it'll be like not we, but the audience will discover things along with the main character. As you know, as they figure out what's to humanity.
Right. So now we're going to get into a little bit of nitty gritty. It seems like this Redeemer character is not the villain, obviously. Do we want to have it that the Redeemer, you want to have it that the main character is older and is trained by the master, or do we want to have it that the Redeemer is just part of the story? He's not the main character, and that the main character is someone else later on, like a kid perhaps, or whatnot. Or even the gunslinger could be the main character. It's y'all's choice.
Well, do we think any of these characters should be one of our enhanced individuals? I mean, I guess they all are technically,
in some way.
But are any of them functioning as a quote superhero function, or kind of not really?
I had a thought.
Well,
go ahead, Ari. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm
okay.
just on my tongue. Just trying to figure things out.
Well, I was thinking, like, I had an idea that maybe having the gunslinger be the villain, and
That's what I thought too.
and
Yeah.
what one thing I thought of was when I saw gunslinger and I saw villain and I thought Bullseye, from the Daredevil comic. So
Yeah.
maybe, like, obviously not as cheesy and dorky and using darts to whatever and like using peas to kill sweet old ladies in airplanes.
Ooh,
But
you went to Colin Farrell. Good gracious.
oh yeah. But
You don't know that.
No, you shouldn't.
but
No,
like,
you shouldn't.
but with this, I think it would kind of be a kind of a cool to have a villain who's like, he's a gunslinger and like he's just one of those guys that, like, he gets a gun and he can hit his target no matter what, or something like that.
Yes. I like that idea a lot. That's
Yeah.
where my brain went to. But also, I like the idea that it doesn't even have to be a gun. I know we're not get too much onto Bullseye because Bullseye doesn't always use Bullseye never uses a gun. Actually, he uses always like something else to throw.
Yeah,
But it could be that that's his knives and darts and stuff. It could be something similar to that. That's this guy's ability. He's able to. It doesn't matter what he has in his hands. He's able to turn into a weapon, basically, and be able to make a projectile out of it, and make it very lethal. And that makes sense in this kind of a world too.
So maybe that's his mutant
Kind of like
power.
a wanted thing.
Yeah, that's kind of his mutant power. It kind of like Wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could take like random objects, like not even like a deck of playing cards or whatever, but like make cherry stems lethal or something like that. Like
Yes.
random things. Cool.
Mm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the idea too. Is it also lends itself well to a villain because he's able to basically kill anybody with anything. Too. Obviously, villains kill people a lot. So I think we're all in agreement that the gunslinger is the best trope or the best place to have our villain. And I think obviously the master has to train our superhero. That's kind of what the story's about because we have that, or it could be the master himself is the superhero. You want to go that route too.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the master being the established super, maybe not like a vigilante type thing, but like an established helper of some like.
Right, he's already a badass.
Yeah, maybe
he's already a badass.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'd
I
like,
like that
just
too.
to put forward my agenda. I'd like to have a female main character this time.
Woo.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So I think also what I like to do, I'll put my foot forward. I like for the master character to be a bit older, like say 40s or 50s, and for them to be experienced at their craft, almost like Batman and Batman Dark Knight Returns when he's a seasoned, experienced superhero, knows what he's doing. Also, it helps itself in this kind of a desert that he's that much grizzled. She's grizzled too.
I have a thought, and I'm going to be interested to see what y'all think. So I was thinking with the master, and I like the idea of having the master be older, and I like the idea of having the master be a superhero. But, and you said Batman, and this is what clicked my head off to think of this, and that is have the master be part of that corporation thing that you talked about, and was a normal human and became a superhero, not because they're actually a superhero, it's just they're like Batman and they're a freaking badass.
Okay.
And they became a badass in this world because they had to, and that's a reveal later on in the thing, like where it's like, oh wait, no, you weren't born into this, you actually made yourself this.
And maybe because the master works for this corporation, their family has had a long history and access to pure water, so they've never had to drink this other water.
Whoa, now
They've been blessed, with being able to drink the good stuff.
Yes, I like that.
I love it.
The problem is I like this too much because now we're also getting into this is something to do with Redeemer. So part of what it is it almost seems like this master and Redeemer are almost one and the same in some level because the way I see it is that if you were part of this corporation and you knowingly saw this happening to people, you knowingly were making a product. I'm calling it H2FO for right now. If you were knowingly creating H2FO, this fake water, and you saw what it was doing to people in the labs or whatnot, and you did nothing to change it, you almost feel guilty and obligated to do something later on to help people out. And especially if you were like Batman, if you were connected, had the resources had money to do these type of things, and if your family was still untouched or harmed by this, in order to see redemption, you want to help.
What if since the story is taking place like a few generations down the line, what if the master and like only a few people are aware that the water is the cause of these mutations. And so what if like our redeemer is just a loyal employee who, and there's the corporate slogan is, this water is going to make you feel better, and like drink this water, and like water's great, water is life. And it isn't until partway in our story that the redeemer finds out that the corporation has actually been poisoning everyone, and so the redeemer kind of tries to put in a better formula to stop that.
I like it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I like it.
I think
I was thinking before you said anything, Sam. I was like, what if we just merge the two together? But I love your idea much more.
Sweet.
And I feel like if we're going with that, would we have the Redeemer be the main character, like the POV character?
yes, yes, I think so. I think we can have it that it could be that the Redeemer is naive. Our master character can be the one that actually was worked for a corporation and saw things and is privy to the information. Our Redeemer character is completely ignorant, is much younger, and is our avatar into this world or our POV. And so the Redeemer is we're going the opposite direction. This Redeemer is trying to help people and doing these type of things that he believes are helping people out. The master character, she finds him, and it's basically like, you're not. It's almost like a Batman and Robin situation where our master character, our Batman character, finds her Robin, her new Robin, essentially, so to speak.
Right. So what if? Again, this is just because I like variety. What if we have the Redeemer and the Master, two women, the gunslinger, a male villain, and I really like that. And also we start out, so like as the audience, we start out sort of buying into the propaganda of the Redeemers working for the corporation, and we're just like, oh, okay, yeah, so they're trying to do good. And then it is only until she meets the Master that the Master is like, actually everything sucks.
Well,
and this is why.
So there's I like that a lot. And before I get carried away and keep cutting you guys off, one thing I thought about too is reveals. Oftentimes in stories, when I have a reveal to be more dramatic. So it could be that this Redeemer discovers or uncovers this big, huge secret or cover up that this water H2O is in fact poisonous or is causing these mutations in some way. And when she stumbles upon it,
and then that's what brings her
into
like,
that. Yes.
Oh boy, I work for the evil people.
Right, and it could be that when that happens, she's trying to make her escape. Basically, it could be that when she discovers this, the corporation discovers her discovery and pretty much puts a hit on her, trying to kill her more or less. And that the person that has the hit on her could literally be the gunslinger, could be the hired assassin to kill her in some way.
Yes.
And so
I like that a lot.
So when our Redeemer is trying to just escape, trying to get as far away as she possibly can, she's done for. There's no possibility for survival, and that's when the Master shows up, and the Master is able fights off the gunslinger, and pretty much introduces our Redeemer.
Maybe the Master had kind of like an eye on her for a little while because
he still works there. Yeah, he works at the corporation. She works at the corporation.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like the Master would be like, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. Fuck. What was I saying?
Train of thought derailed.
Oh boy. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
All right. Well, my question is, I keep going back and forth. How evil is our Master? Because I keep going back and forth. Like, is the Master like the head of this corporation and was kind of behind this, or is the Master like on the side of the Redeemer? And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I keep going back and forth.
I like now granted I've been influenced because I just read it recently, but I'm getting a V for Vendetta feel from this.
Good book.
And
Great book,
and he was very like, the V was they were very like anarchy. And I don't know if we necessarily want to go that far with it, but I do think the Master should. I don't think the Master should be the big bad that has no. I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be like that they were tangential, or they were like off to the side.
Yes.
and they feel guilty
Yeah.
all those years, and then all these superheroes came up, and then they jumped in and were like, well, I guess, like, to try to assuage their words I can't pronounce, their own guilt, and then they see this opportunity with this Redeemer character to try and be like, I can fix things that I should have done a long time ago, you know.
Yes,
Okay.
that's how I feel as
Yeah,
well.
agreed.
Yes,
More of
and
like
getting
a
more into
neutral.
actual. Yes, that's how I saw him too. He's lawful
Yeah.
neutral. But in particular, as far as with the corporation, I see that the initial motives of the H2O Foe Corporation, they weren't deliberately trying to make poison. They were trying to make a compound that actually did help people because the world was running out of water. They had no choice. But when they found out that it was, because they may not have been right away, but when they found out that this compound was harming people, they didn't stop. And that's what, and that's so they were culpable in that sense. And our character, you got to remember, this happened, generations ago, or at least one generation ago. So our main character, the Master, she was young too. If you're a young person at a corporation, you can't do that much. And if you have a family, you're trying to provide for them. So it may have been that she was kind of between a rock and a hard place. She found out that this stuff was harming people. At the same time, what could she do to stop it? So she basically donned the mask in a way to try and fight, almost like a Zorro or whatnot, trying to fight for the little guy as best she could behind the scenes, as opposed to directly taking on a corporation she worked for. But I guess the idea too is if she's still working there at the corporation, she continue to work there if she knows that they are continue to pump out poison.
Maybe
You go ahead.
Yeah. No, go.
Okay. I was gonna say. I mean, I think she's aware, and she still works for them. But since she's on the inside, she can sort of mitigate the damage. Because I mean, if she wasn't, then it would probably be a lot worse. Which also maybe is the reason why she takes such a shine to the Redeemer, because this is a person who can do something about it without endangering the position that she's already in. I mean, the Master's already in.
Yes. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
What if our like Master? What if like maybe one of the things that she's done is like 1 out of every 10 gallons of water, whatever comes out, is good water, and so she realized like maybe she's one of the scientists or something, and the Redeemer's a scientist, and the Master realized, hey, if I don't do too much, I can still sneak out some good drinkable pure water, but if I do too much of it, it's gonna raise some alarms. And so she kind of like tries to find that balance, and maybe that's what the Redeemer finds out, because the Redeemer's checking and it's like, hey, this water is different. There's a mistake with this. That's how they have the interaction.
Yes. She stumbles upon the good conspiracy, so to speak. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that right there, what you just said, as far as, because one thing we haven't really discussed as much is that the idea that this Redeemer, the Master character is a scientist. They work at this corporation. So as opposed to a businessman, she's actually a scientist. And so part of what she could do, part of her motives for being at the corporation could also be that she's trying to discover a cure of some kind, or maybe make a better version of this water that doesn't have all these side effects or things of that nature in them. She's trying to help the cause too. So yes, she is smuggling out good water, so to speak, but she's also trying to undo the harm that's been done by this corporation, and a sense of obligation and sense of guilt too. And she does. Sorry.
Just to clarify, our Master character, she's the hero. She's a superhero of this.
They're both heroes.
They're both?
She's the current hero. The Master is a current, and she's her. And our, I guess her protege would be the Redeemer, but she's not quote unquote a superhero just yet.
Okay.
Actually, that's a really good question, because the one idea too was that maybe the people who are working for this corporation have never had to drink the bad water. They've always had access to the good water. So they're like more pure humans, or they're more pure whatever. So that would be one option. So they could maybe be like, I think Nate was saying too, like the whole Batman thing of being superheroes without having, quote, mutations or superpowers.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're still having access to the good water, so they haven't had any of those side effects.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, I agree. And again, because our we probably should name our master. I don't know her name would be, but she is a scientist. I mean, she is very smart. Like Batman is very smart. He has no actual powers, but he's a brilliant detective, which is why he's able to survive.
What's
It could be that's
like
what she does.
a female placeholder for Bruce?
Yeah, I was gonna say Brucina.
Yikes.
Winette? I don't know.
No, that's
Winger. I don't know.
we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that. But yeah, that's how I saw it. The master character is kind of like a Batman analog going up against other villains, and there are probably other villains and things in this world, other enhanced beings that she has. But also, I imagine this master, she also, because she's so privy to so much information at the lab that they make this water, and she has seen so many of these different types of mutants that have arisen, she's very privy to their weaknesses as well. So she's able that gives her an edge in combat out in the streets and everything, and fighting people. She knows these things, or even just across the board. It may be that anyone who's ingested so much of this H2FO, they have a weakness to sunlight at certain temperatures, and she knows that kind of stuff too. So there's little things like that she might have an edge on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea that our master character technically has no powers. Like the idea of our characters having weaknesses as well, can be exploited.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
powers are science powers.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So once we have it that where we are now, our Redeemer character, which should we call our Redeemer since she's an activist, basically. She's an activist, but for an already going cause. We can call her. The first thing that came to mind was like Trish. I don't know.
Trish?
Yeah. Because I knew I could hear her rolling her eyes.
It's one of our
sounding. Yes.
That's one of our themes.
Yes, our only theme.
Ethan comes up with names and I shoot them down, or not.
I think every single name I've ever come up with. But the reason I came up with that one was because there was a Trish character in the Lethal Weapon movies that's an activist. But okay, let's see here. I'm open to any names, but where we are on the story wise
is that name the character whatever you want, and I will get angry or not at you later, so it'll be fine.
It's a roll of the dice. Do what you're gonna do.
Literally in this world. Okay, so for the first thing was I had for their master character, I started calling her Madam X. As far as like, so if Malcolm X is Madam X, like someone who's speaking up against the masses.
Nice. I like it as being black as well. That's what I'm drawing. So
sure. Okay. So we'll call her Madam X, and so Madam X and the Redeemer character, whatever we call her, I don't know. We'll call her not Trish for right now. So Madam X.
Trish.
Trish is fine. I'm just being.
So Madam X and Trish, they meet up, and I guess we'll have something of a, I don't know, Madam X takes Trish to her Bat Cave or her X Cave, so to speak, and pretty much because she's blowing her mind now. If Trish, her whole life has thought that this water was helpful to people, and was necessary. If someone's come along and say, no, this is actually poison, and also it's mutating people, the mutation you have yourself was caused by this very water, it'd be very, very hard to accept. So we had to kind of go. So part of, I guess, the exposition will have to happen through Master talking to Trish right here, or Madam Master talking to Trish. Which brings up one last thing we haven't discussed yet. What power or ability does Trish have?
Ooh, good question.
Trish does drink this water. She's always drank this water, and she grew up in this water. She was second generation.
I was trying to think if I was going back with her name. What if Trish's name had something to do with? I was trying to like play with like superhero-y names that had to do with like water or oxygen or something that had like a bigger meaning, because she's a child of this time, so it's possible that she'd have like
yes.
like watercress or I don't know.
No, that's perfect.
I like that.
Perfect.
I had an idea. Now forgive me, because sometimes this happens and my brain just kind of floats out the window. And y'all might have said this, and I just didn't remember it. But so I'm thinking with this water idea, part of the reason why the master latches onto her is because of her water power, is like, and I do remember you guys said this, like, there's something weird here. This water's different. And then the master discovers, and she can fix the rest of the water and essentially make the water okay in the future.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that. I like that a lot. There should also be something a little flashy with it too. If it's a way that maybe she's able to like disperse water or do something with water too. Yeah, I like that idea for helping.
Water.
Yeah, creating water.
Maybe it's a thing where she can control water. She can do kind of like the way the Invisible Woman can control invisible stuff. She could do water.
Right. No, I like that a lot too. Because actually, another thing that came to mind was as the Master is fighting with Madam X is fighting with the Gunslinger. It could be that Madam X is beating her, but in a way, she's starting to lose the fight, and Aqua or whatever we end up calling her has to use her ability to basically kind of to save Madam X as well, which kind of reveals to Madam X that she has the ability to do something with water, which makes her think she might be the key that she needs, the missing link in helping her figure out how to reverse to fix the water problem. That's how it's revealed to her what she does and why she decides to take her on.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so we can incorporate all those things. We can just call her Aqua. Aqua is Sam said real quick right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Aqua.
I'm loving this drawing, by the way.
Oh,
is this our Madam X?
Yeah, this is Madam X so far.
Yes.
That's always my favorite part of the show is see, I always wait to the very end before I look at the that's my dessert. Okay. So once they get back to and it could be also that that Aqua hasn't spent a lot of time honing her abilities, or she only knows how to use them in almost like a reflex or an impulse if she's kind of young. So the idea of Master may have to kind of teach her on some level how to use her abilities more, use her power more. Hence,
maybe at the beginning, the first part of the story or whatever is just that the Master only realizes that Aqua can control water, and it isn't until much later our reveal that she can actually heal water. And so the first part of it is just, hey, she can manipulate water. That's great. And it isn't until later that they're like, oh my gosh, this is much bigger than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that a lot. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We'll have to figure out how to do that review. Yes. The manipulation of water. Okay.
Oh, okay. Question. So Gunslinger can manipulate lots of things to make them lethal. Can he also manipulate water? Like, I'm thinking of the moment in which Gunslinger and Aqua meet. Aqua could have the resource of water to either defend herself or to attack, but could Gunslinger also use water?
Ooh, he can only use things that are like already made. So he can maybe make very sharp water bullets out of her attacks, maybe
something, or
maybe in the final fight, or some fight at some point. There's where he gets okay. Stick with me. It's gonna sound stupid, but he gets a water gun. No, but seriously, like a hose, like a fire hose, like can F you up, if you get a direct shot. So so maybe it's a thing where he's like, maybe that's how he's taken down Madam X, and Aqua's like, oh, and then manipulates the water to hit him in the junk or something. I don't know.
No, I definitely see the potential there. I think that my first thought was typically what happens with because we're dealing with superheroes and obviously supervillains. A supervillain has to have almost the opposite or a complementary attribute to the main superhero has. So if our superhero is essentially Aqua in this particular story, it's Aqua and Madam X, but Aqua, and Aqua has the ability to manipulate water. Gunslinger would probably manipulate something like Ari said, something hard, or it would have to counteract, maybe even fire itself. Maybe he can manipulate fire, or maybe he has the ability to maybe his body itself produces fire, which is what gives him the ability to fire.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
That's it. Maybe he's gunpowder.
Guns are essentially just a controlled explosion, so he can control fire. At that level, don't want to make him pyro or anything like that, but
something along those lines.
Very small controlled explosion. Like his power is not actually that great, but when he has a gun in his hand, it's great.
Yeah.
Right. Or even yes, exactly. Okay, that makes perfect sense. You amplify any kind of weapon, but because he has I put a note there. Okay, perfect.
What if I was just thinking, what if we had there was a funny moment where let's say he's really good at controlling objects, but he's actually a horrible shooter kind of. So let's say there's a scene where he has a gun and he doesn't know how to turn the safety off and he doesn't know how to use it. So he gets annoyed and he just dumps the bullets out and then starts shooting the bullets once they're dumped out because he's just I can fucking use the bullets, but I have no idea how to use a gun, you know?
I absolutely love that.
I love that.
He's a moron. He's a moron.
He's I don't know how, yeah.
And I can even see a thing where he buys ammo in bulk, but he never has a gun on him. And they're like, why do you have so many boxes of ammo? And he's like, what? And what would be really funny is make him kind of I don't know if we'd want to make him kind of dorky, but have him be whenever he does the firing, he does the pew pew with his fingers.
Sure.
Oh my god, it's so lovable.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the idea of him wildly mature and a crazy kid. If Aqua is obviously more mature and it's perfect sense.
He's like the bad guy in the first Despicable Me.
Gru?
No. Well, Gru's the good. He's he's a villain, but the bad guy in that was played by Jason Segel and I can't Vector. And Vector was this he was trying to be really cool. He was trying to be this cool, slick supervillain, but he really was just a massive dork. And he came up with the squid gun, and he's just shooting squids out of this gun, and he's just kind of adorable. And I think that would kind of be funny to have it be everybody's oh, they got the gunslinger, and then he comes in and be like, hi guys, how you doing?
He's like John C.
Have elements of that, but I also want there to be a real sense of danger. He's competent at one thing. The rest is work.
Yes. I like that too, because there has to be a legitimate. You can't feel like you're fighting a child at that. Yeah, but it also, I guess that, like Nate said too, he's not subtle, and he's also not. He overdoes everything, so he has he put an entire box of bullets into his hands and just fire them wildly, as opposed to trying to be precise. He's over the top in every aspect, kind of thing. Okay, all right. Let's see, where were they? I'm trying to lock some stuff in here. All right. Do we have what kind of name should we give him just for the sake of it? Should we just call him the Gunslinger for ominous sake, or should we give him?
I love the title, the Gunslinger.
The Gunslinger.
The Gunslinger, and then
the Gunslinger. Yeah, that works. Okay, we'll call him the Gunslinger. Okay. I know Ari has. Sam or Nate, have you guys seen any of Avatar: The Last Airbender? Are you familiar with it at all?
A little, yes.
Okay. There's a character named Katara in that show, and she has ability. Well, in this world of Avatar, there are benders, people who can manipulate an element, and one of the characters can manipulate the element of water, and that means that in every possible aspect, she can manipulate water. So if you want to, she can turn water into ice. She can make water that's around. She can't produce the water, but if it's in front of her, she can make it into a waterfall. Basically, she can turn it. If someone is in front of her that has blood in their body, she can manipulate the blood in their body because it's water and blood, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
It could be that's where Aqua is. Aqua definitely doesn't know how to do hardly any of these real super duper things, but that's kind of what her journey is to learn how to get really, really good with manipulating water in every aspect. So she's able to turn it into ice or make it into a big huge shield of water or things of that nature. Um,
Yeah, maybe her. I was just thinking because, like, if she's one of the scientists also with Madam X at this corporation, maybe her use of water or her understanding of water is different than what we've normally seen with water characters. Like, you know, like most characters, it's like they treat all water the same.
Mhm.
But what if our Aqua character has a very different understanding of, say, salt water versus fresh water? Or
hmm.
and so how she's able to manipulate it is
Mhm.
different because she's treating it at a more scientific elemental level.
Ooh,
I like
that's
that.
different.
And
So like, yeah,
Because that would tie in really well with the Master, with Madam
yeah,
X, because she's the scientist and she can teach the Redeemer about, properties of molecules or something like that, to
yeah,
help her better control her power.
That's how that's how she's able to get to her through science. Yeah,
yeah,
they both speak science.
and then there's
yeah. So like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then there's the reveal to her, like like actually, I'm Madam X, or the I'm crazy person woman that you see on the news, and then and then when the reveal happens later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you're saying that obviously Madam X and Aqua work at the same corporation, but Aqua has no idea that this character, the master character, in her, as she's a regular employee at this corporation, that she's also is a superhero, Madam X, until she pulls the mask off later on. I got you. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. I like that a lot. I like the idea that you had to speaking to her through science, and essentially that's how she learns. She really has to learn level how to control her user ability as opposed to just
Yeah.
because I'm a superhero. Okay, cool. Very cool. So I haven't the notes I've taken haven't been as big of plot points, but they're all more or less main ideas.
It's a good setup.
Yeah.
I'm sure now we can talk about plot.
Right, the story. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a great setup right there. Great setup. That's a great Act One, and I imagine that Act One will pretty much end with the Master or Madam X and Aqua teaming up together at the X Cave, what have you, and Madam X setting out to kind of train Aqua in how to use her abilities in a scientific way or whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
All
I
right.
think that's good. I think
That's fantastic.
yeah,
Awesome.
I think if we tried to go into Act 2, we'd be here all night. So
Yes.
that seems like actually a good place for us to
Yeah. Just look at the clock and realize that a lot more time has passed than I expected. So
yeah.
That's a good thing.
And that means this
thing.
was a good episode.
Right. All right. Just to do a. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, because when we did the political drama with the Badger and the Miss Briz, I'll admit there with the first episode, it was like we were 20 minutes in, and I was like, we're okay. This is gonna be fun.
Because we're so nervous, like, and then
Yeah.
Trump. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And the Badger is named Bolton. Anyway, so okay, yeah. So you were gonna do the recap, Ethan?
Yeah, I'll do a quick recap on everything for everyone. The genre that we're working with this week is a superhero. We're set in a desert. The time period is the future. Archetype number 1 is a redeemer. Archetype number 2 is a master, and archetype number 3 is a gunslinger. The setting, the backdrop for the story is that in the future, after global warming becomes that much more prevalent, corporations start developing artificial water to combat the severe droughts. One corporation, H2FO, develops a very well beloved water compound, artificial water. We'll start drinking it up like crazy. However, this artificial compound causes people to have mutations. It kills off some, but it causes others to mutate. And after a couple of generations, virtually everyone that's still left alive has some kind of mutation or ability or power, like the X-Men or mutants in any kind of fiction, so to speak. One of the employees that's working at the Master, aka Madam X, is a scientist that has seen behind the curtain since the very beginning and is aware of the fact that this corporation, the H2 foe, has been knowingly allowing this artificial water to harm people. And she kind of made it her mission to find a way to cure anyone that has any from this, to make pure water, clean water, and to smuggle clean water out of the corporation as best she can. While this is going on, a character who, our Redeemer character, known as Aqua, works at the same corporation, and she's been doing her best to kind of provide water to the masses because people are still pretty destitute in most areas. One night she goes back to get more water, and she stumbles upon, she sees something she shouldn't see at the corporation. And as she's trying to make an escape for it, one of the higher ups at the corporation sends out their hitman, the gunslinger, to go and take her down before she can spill the tea, so to speak, about the corporation and what they're doing. And before the gunslinger can kill Aqua, the master character, aka Madam X, swoops in and saves her. And during the struggle, Aqua reveals her ability to actually control water and kind of aids Madam X in the fight. Then the two of them scurry away from the gunslinger, and while they're retreating, they go back to the X cave, and Madam X tells Aqua all about what's happening with the water and how it's causing all kinds of harm and things of that nature. And Madam X makes it her new mission to teach Aqua how to use her abilities to help aid her in the fight against evil water, so to speak.
Awesome.
That sounds great. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Right. And that is Act 1.
And now for Ethan's favorite part of the
Yes, the only reason I come here every day. Every week. Oh, look, holy Jesus, that's fantastic. Here's the thing, all right, you know what it looks like? My first thought was, in a way, I think it's the best possible sense, was a sister.
Yeah. Halfway through, I was like, looks a little like Sister Night. But then I realized, there's never enough Sister Night in the world, so.
No, I love it. I love Sister Night from
holy crap.
The Watchmen show on HBO. Yeah, I love Sister Night. Fantastic. Yeah. I love it. That's great. One of your best ones yet.
Oh.
Love the pieces.
Not nearly done, but thank you very much.
No, of course.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Very sweet.
Yes.
All right. So Sam, we want to thank you so much for lending us your time and your skills and you are a fantastic writer. I say a majority of the stories.
Yeah.
Made up by you. Do you have anything you'd like to say before you depart?
Oh my gosh.
Or whatnot?
No, this was such a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. I think this is also just a great exercise, not only for writers participating, but also for writers listening. And you guys create a really great space of just, open-mindedness and just letting every idea kind of, come out there and play around with it. And that way it can grow naturally. So thank you guys for creating that space. And this was a lot of fun.
Wow. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here and helping us to create.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast.
Yes, we had a pleasure. We definitely had a pleasure having you on. And we will have links to Sam's most recent album that she released as well. You can check her out. She's on Spotify and YouTube as well. She's all over the place. She's an amazing talent.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
You will be able to find that in the show notes for the podcast. You'll also be able to find that in the links below the video. And also in Twitch, I will make sure to have that links there as well. So we will plaster it all over it. We will scream it from the heavens.
Beautiful.
So,
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. You will be able to hear this as in the podcast version. That'll be released on Wednesday. The YouTube video will be available next Monday for video on demand. If you want to get that earlier, you can find us on Patreon and become a supporter, and you'll be able to get early access, which is awesome. Yes. And you'll be able to hear Ethan sing, so it'd be great.
But also, you can hear Sam sing. That's the real thing.
Yes, and that is coming soon. That is coming soon once I learn how to use After Effects. Anyway, so thank you again, everybody. And check us out everywhere. We're on Twitch, YouTube, all that. And so I hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.